So, eroded wall. Okay, something kinda more simple than other stuff we've seen. We only have 2 renders. Okay, obviously if you look at it from pretty close, it's not gonna look that nice. So now into substance. As you can see, yeah, we have done harder stuff than this, obviously. And here is the 3D view with the OpenGL. Okay, so let's start. Basically, the basic shape, it's pretty much the same with the microsurface, almost. We still have a few more detail that is going to go after we have made the most of the noise. So let's start. Let's leave this. This can also work as a ground, as you can see. Okay, it might need a little bit of toning down, but yeah, I can see it being used like that. So basically where I start from is instead of this, I started with a fluid, and I mostly just changed a few of the stuff. I was actually trying to do something else, but this came up, so you know. And what I did first was take this and basically plug it into a grunge map, and yeah, you can see that this can translate easily into a wall like. Okay, like there's the bumps, and it has also eroded and it starts dripping, or you know, has more downs or something like that. And then I went back and I wanted to have a little bit more breakup on this, so I use an anisotropic noise with a directional warp at 16. You have your blend with add linear dodge. If you lower this down, you're going to get more erosion, as you can see. Okay, this can also work for a rock substance, I believe, or a marble that it's a little bit more destroyed. And if you raise this one up entirely, then you have less of damage, well, at least as far as the erosion works. Okay, and this is a little bit more softer. So because this was looking a little bit too flat by itself, I took a tile generator. Okay, and basically 3x2. I wanted to have, you know, big concrete slabs. Well, this usually indicates that, you know, when they were making it, they had planks and they were creating the, you know, they were throwing a cement in and then creating the other and the other and then the above floor and stuff like that. Okay, anyway, apart from that, okay, tile generator 3x2. The scale is the important thing because it's going to give you the lines. I wanted very, very thin lines since this is not necessarily a separated material. Okay, and we do this, and the other, of course, important thing is the variation and the contrast. So we have these values. Then I took slow brew grayscale to start getting a few breakups on the surface, especially where the edges are concerned. Okay, with just a penny noise zoom, and I think I'll lower the distance a little bit and also change the random seed. Okay, and we have a directional warp which we pass from here, and we get these. Okay, we break up a little bit more the pattern, although this right now looks a little bit too identical. So let's make this at 100 and let's see what this is going to give us. Okay, slightly, yeah, it's a bit better now, although there is still few things that feel identical at this point, but you can see that they do not show on the final image, so it's okay. So after that, I've taken basically inversed the grayscale we get from our tile generator, run it through slow blur grayscale with just a pale noise too, and you can see that we get some softer damages or some softer variations on the pattern at this point. And then I'm adding it with subtract entirely on top of the base design we have. And also what I'm doing is I'm crunching up the values because I know I want to add more, and we're actually going to reuse these lines a little bit later that we're going to work with the color. So I'm taking this, I'm warping it through a warp with a clouds too. You can see that it's just 0.06, doesn't matter, and we get these squiggly lines. You can of course go a little bit softer with this, and after that we basically can separate, or we'll start working with some more detail. So what I did, I ran it again through a slow blur grayscale with intensity 0.34 with mean, and then I created a clouds level. Okay, isolated a few areas, warp them a little bit, and then subtract it from the main image. Okay, you can see the difference over here. After that, the histogram range, we can control the height. I wanted something more grayish, or that it shouldn't be that higher up, so we can add more values on top of that. And then I've added a basic layer, a very subtle layer with a black and white spots one, so we break up and we have this nice separation, so it's not all just a flat color. And then the normal is ready, and we get this, and then with the alpha I've just changed the alpha channel. I just removed it and separate it to output it. And of course we're going to have the curvature smooth and ambient occlusion, and it's going to make us a dirt node, which is, I think these are the default values. Maybe I picked a little bit the grams amount, but this will come back to this later. Okay, so metallic over here, of course. So for the roughness, I start with a base and clouds 1 noise, and I'm blending it. It's very, very subtle. You probably might not even see it on the video. And then I'm using max lighten to what we have over here that's going to go on your normal with just max lighten, and it's going to put it on top of our base. Okay, so we have at least something to work with. And now I'm just reusing grunge maps that I used on the color, in this case 14 and 15, and I played a little bit with the values, and I will be adding them with add linear dots and subtract depending on how you want it to look. And you can see that this alone can also be used as a color map, I believe. Okay, since all of this is mostly concrete, there's not so many different materials, then the values, I believe, can work at some similar range. Okay, and you can see some slight variations over there. Of course, it depends on the look you're going for, as always. Okay, I think it works. So that's for the roughness. So for the color, and I'm going to start with a base, but I'm also going to reuse one of these, because why not? Or if we want to be more precise, we can reuse one of these. Or yeah, let's try this. It's not so much of a difference because I'm working with very low values, very different. Yeah, there's only slight differences between each value. and that's why it's more prone to, you know, it's harder to make an error or make something that doesn't look that good. So what I did, I have a base, and I'm going to blend it with a grounds map 13, and as you can see, I'm using the same color with a hue, saturation, lightness, just a hue a little bit, and this turned out to be the same color, but when I applied, I use subtract, so I'm subtracting color information instead of adding it, and do this, yeah, we do the same. So I'm subtracting basically the values that look like this, or that are at this range from the base color. Okay, and then from the same one, but from this, I'm subtracting more color formation. If you want to be more, you know, more intense, you can raise this up, or if you want to be more subtle, you can also do it like this. We can take one of these actually and put it on the roughness, now that I think of it. Let's try it. And let's blend this over here. Let's take this, put it down here, and let's use max lighten, and we can say that we get a few white areas, or let's use a linear dodge. Let's plug this in because this is way too much. So something at those values, so you get a little bit of a difference where there is all that erosion. Okay, you can see that you probably might not even be able to see it on the video. Yeah, let's see above. There are some nice variations, I believe. Yeah. Okay, you can see the roughness and how it will actually add. So the next part is slightly a dirt pass, but it has to do with the lines. Those lines are from down here where we inverted this. Okay, we have it inverted, we have those lines, and what we're doing, slow blur grayscale, we get these points, all of this, and we can have you know, slow blur grayscale with a parallel noise zoom. We break it apart. I used a histogram scan to crunch a little bit the values and then blur them, so it's a little bit softer than this, and you lose all these striations which we want to actually lose. Okay, and then I am subtracting it from a parallel noise zoom, which we also reused, and afterwards we have black and white spots, and I'm also using subtract on top of that. And if I want more or less, that in this case, okay, this will give it an entirely different look. And basically what this is just breaks apart the uniform values you see right in the center. Okay, depending, and this is the line it's going to do, and I've used that just a uniform color like this, and with just copy, although for the first one you can get no subtract. Let's try a few more. Max lighten, this will highlight it, this will darken it. Yeah, I guess it's not that. let's just leave it at copy, I guess. So on the next one, I used again the grounds map 14, which we used also on our roughness, and we're adding the same color again with subtract now, and you can see that it gives it the little blue tint you might see, or bluish tint. Okay, you can see without it, you can see full of it, which is not even a bad look. Okay, black, yeah, this might be a little bit too extreme, but it also gives it another damage or another different type of erosion, I guess. Like this, like, you know, this was water that eroded the floor or something like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it back at where it was. Something like this. Okay, here is a color, and the final one is of course our dirt bus, curvature smooth, dirt, and we are adding the dirt on top of it, and we are over here. And you can see that I didn't also output the ambient occlusion, okay, because it's very soft, it's very, yeah, I think we wouldn't really need it. Or let's try it, I guess. There's no harm in trying. Let's take all this, put it over here. Although, yeah, I could have just used this. And you can see that it's not really doing much. Let me think. Let's add the levels node. Yeah, it helps a little bit to point, to make the shapes a little bit more. So what we can also add, let's add it as, let's invert this. Oops, no, let's delete the output, the opacity, and let's add it as color information, but as a dirt color information, oops, and not as shadows, but let's make this a little bit darker. Let's add this over there. Let's add it on there, something like this. And of course we can also play with the values. Oops, maybe subtract. Yeah, it's a little bit too soft, I believe, at this point. So maybe we can raise the levels instead of lowering them. Okay, of course this makes it for something entirely different, not what we want. Yeah, I guess you can make something more marble like, I don't know. Maybe something like this. That it has like a soft layer of dust or something like that. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, that you can of course modify it. It's a very simple material, and if you hook something else over here, it probably is going to work as well. Let's make this something different, I guess. Okay, if you want bricks, of course we need to tile down this, the second pattern that we get from over here, and this will probably be, see, this is dirt, so this is probably over here. Okay, so if you want to have to make it as ground tiles or something like that, or bricks, let's see, oops, let's go back over here. And yeah, I've actually forgot to cover the height, but from the height it's not really something you know, too great. From over here, before we add the black and white spots, which we have, and then output it into our normal, one level below on our histogram rates, that's why I've, you know, made this at 0.5 and 0.5, is that I basically use the same tile generator with the same values as the other one. Now of course I've changed them so they won't going to have the same values, and I just use the gradient linear, blend it with a penny noise so that it breaks up the height, and then with minimum darken pass it on top of the design, the base design. You can see that it's very subtle. Okay, and of course if you want to go more, you can of course do it, but I wanted to have something more uniformly. But since we changed the tiles, let's change this also to 10 by 10. Of course this is way too much, so we're going to bring this back, maybe something like this. Okay, so you can also have bricks, and these are a little bit too squared bricks, so let's break them up something like this, 5 by 10, and let's make this also 5 by 10. And here we go, here it is. Okay, if you want to change the whole design, you can pretty easily. And if you probably add something entirely different, that it's not that's not, you know, square formations or square like this, and you also remove this tile generator, or, you know, plug it with the other one you have, or change the height, you can, it will also work, you know, as marble or a rock or something. And we can also start to bring this up, dilating a little bit, so we get also some different color variations, although this will probably need one more pass, wouldn't hurt for this. Yeah, and the problem comes from over here, as you can see, because from the levels node we do not get, we cannot, or we need to adjust them more. Yeah, that's too much. Or we can just copy paste this and go down to the variations over here, contrast, drop it over here, and simply do this. Okay, and over here raise this up now, and it should work. Yeah, it didn't actually work that good, and probably because we have a lot more, yeah, there's a lot less information now, so subtracting them means removing them at this point. So okay, as you can see, of course you can do a lot of stuff as always with procedural textures. So this is it. Okay, like, subscribe. If you like to see more, then feel free to subscribe, and you can also support me on Patreon, where you can actually download the substances, as you will see in the description. Okay, and I'll see you next time.